When that budget was sent to the chief of staff, I wasn't the minister. It means that he did not adhere to this budget I left with him and change the budget to the chief of staff. So he should accept responsibility that he changed the budget and he indicated $10,000 for the players. 2, he also gave an inaccuracy here, a statement which was not inaccurate. He said that they paid $15,000 as qualification bonus to the players after the preliminary stage. The players won only 2 matches, so why did you pay 15,000? Why did you pay 50,000? There is something they are hiding. The truth of the matter is that they paid the players more than the 5,000 they stated to the Ghanaian public. They paid 5,000 to the players as winning bonuses for each match, and they've also paid 15,000 to the players as qualification bonus. So if you put it together, actually the players received 25,000 after the first round, which was more than what we had budgeted for.
And you have the evidence to back that, because
he himself has said it here. He said it here. Either he was confused or he was not speaking the truth. But as far as the budget issue is concerned, this is the evidence. This is the budget I left with him as the head of the transition team that met me. So if a budget was prepared as the 10th of January to the chief of staff, then that was his budget, not my budget.
Okay, but your budget, for example, when it comes to the qualification, at least for the group stages, indicated $8,000.
Yes.
And, well, at least from the initial discussion that had come up from the initial discussion.
From the first match to the final, $8,000. You understand? $8,000 from match 1 to the final.
Not for individual matches, as in $8,000 per match.
I'm saying that's $8,000 per match to the final. It doesn't matter whether you are in final or semi-finals, $8,000. That's the standard bonus for all Black Star matches. That's what we proposed. And then they varied it. They paid $5,000 to them as winning bonus and also paid $15,000 as qualification bonus, which is more than $10,000 per match.
But he maintains they never paid winning bonus.
But he said it here. And when he was asked, the Blairs played 3 matches. Why did you pay 50 matches?
Because they qualified.
And then he also said that they paid them another $6,000.
Yes.
So what are you saying?
From the knockout stage.
And what was the 12,000 two men for? There was another 12,000. What was meant for?
It was what.
Don't interpret. I'm talking about what he said here.
Slash from 12,000 to 6,000. He explained.
Who presented?
He says that the convention had been that
they
are paid 12,000.
Which convention?
That was what he meant.
It is never true. Which convention? I was the minister there before him. So which convention is he talking about? Which convention is he talking about? When I came, the budget, the bonus they had left was 10,000, and I negotiated and brought it down to 8,000, and that's why I maintained that that's the bonus we should pay to the end of the tournament.
So are you saying he varied it, or the chief director?
But I wasn't the minister as at 10th January.
But he's also producing a document coming from the chief director.
But he's the one who has asserted that if chief director signed document, minister should be held responsible. He asserted here, so he should be held responsible for that budget. That's his budget.
Generally speaking, what do you make of his responses to the questions?
That's what I'm saying. Either he was confused or he was lying.
That's quite harsh.
It's not harsh. But how can you say I gave you a budget stipulating 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 when I have not given you a budget of that? The budget I gave you, that's what I've shown to you.
But did you personally hand over?
I personally handed it over to them at the International Conference Center. I chaired that meeting, the first meeting with him. I handed it over to him.
What if he's lying under oath? What are you going to do about
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to pursue this further. I'm going to pursue this further. And in fact, this will have to come. I also have copies of the budget. And I'm going to make sure I submit this to the chairman of the committee. And if he has lied under oath, we'll pursue this.
Just a final bit, so that then the general concern that you have about him either lying or them overpaying the players, do you think probably the GFA should be investigated for that as far as expenditures?
I don't have any issue with the GFA. I don't have any
the sports
issue with
ministry.
the GFA. Please. I'm saying that when we met at the transition team, we showed him 2 budgets, the proposal for the GFA and what we have reviewed, and we presented to him what we have reviewed. If during his time, as at the 10th of January, he has been in the ministry for 3 days. If during that time, the chief director had sent another budget to the chief of staff, he cannot claim ignorance about that budget. The chief director may have discussed that budget with him, and the chief director may have sent that budget. So it is his budget. So he should tell us that this was the budget he sent to the chief of staff. stipulating 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 from the preliminaries to quarter and to semi-finals. He shouldn't claim that it was our budget we left for him, because the evidence is here. If he presumed that I didn't have the evidence, I have it here on my phone. This is the budget, and I showed it to you before. Exactly. And I've showed you that 8,000 per match up to the end. So he shouldn't lie.
Thank you.
Well, so that's Nii Lantey Vanderpuye there. He's the Member of Parliament for the Ododo-Diodio area, a member of the Appointments Committee. With those details there, it became a dragged conversation between himself and also the Minister for Youth and Sports nominee right here at the vetting session. And he would make sure that all other things being equal, he submits the documents on the GFA's budget to the chairman of the appointment committee. He's claiming the Honorable Isaac Asiamah lied on the oath and that he would want that investigated further. We'll see how it goes. The next nominee that we are expecting to appear here for the vetting is Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed Awal, who is the Minister Designate for Business Planning. That session will be beginning sometime soon, but for now, the members of the Appointments Committee are going to the main chamber, and it's expected that the chairman of the committee, Joe Sewus, will be laying the fourth report of the Appointments Committee on the ministerial nominees, which covers a number of people, 6 of them, including Joe Gate, Kwesi Asiamah, and some other 4 others. They are expected to give approval for that, after which they would be debating and voting on whether or not Otiko Afisa-Jabba should be approved as Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection. When all that is done, then the Appointments Committee would begin sitting to hear from Mr. Mohammed Awal, and then the final person who would be appearing later today would be Mavis Kumsin, who is the Minister Designate for Business Planning as well. Back to you.